Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into the YouTube channel. Well, we're rounding the corner from January into February, and when I think of this time of year, there's specific color schemes and baits that kind of come to mind. And so I wanted to talk about a color scheme particularly that kind of transcends over a couple different bait categories. And that's your red craw colors. And I know in some parts of the country you're thinking, man, it's still January. It's not quite February yet. Hold your horses. But, you know, the red craw pattern like that, I mean, even here in Texas, you could probably catch them on a red craw color in a lot of months that probably people don't associate with it. But I would say right after the new year, you can throw your red craw colors and really be effective with it. An old friend of mine, Mark Pack, he has since passed away, and just a tremendous fisherman and a dear friend of mine. He told me one time, he said, look, once you get past the middle of December, December 15th, this is when you start pulling out your red craw patterns, your lipless crankbaits, and they start to become more and more of a factor. The red craw colors are great, and it really doesn't matter what you're throwing it in. It's a pattern, a color pattern that you should definitely be looking at, whether it's a little square bill. This is a red glitter craw. I think this one is actually called like a Rayburn red. This is also a Rayburn red Bill Lewis MR6, a smaller kind of almost a semi, it's kind of got flat sides to it, but it casts really well, has a tight vibration, also good for your colder water periods. The SB57 Bill Lewis crawfish colored cranks. This is kind of what I would think of more along the lines of, you know, your Highland impoundments with a little bit greater water clarity that they're dealing with. A lot of people wonder why these red craw colors are so productive and they become a factor year after year after year. And I don't know that many people really have, you know, an understanding why, but really it doesn't really matter. Just knowing that that's the seasonal pattern, these red craw colors are effective in this time of year when you're going to want to pull something like this out. Another color that's become popular is kind of a fire craw. This is on the new Bill Lewis hammer trap, but the fire craw color pattern, I think this is probably the third or fourth winter that it's been through. It's, you know, and it just crosses over from not only from your lipless crankbaits, but they've got fire craw patterns in your chatterbait type lures. That's a fire craw color. Just your super bright, you know, kind of reddish fire craw type color combinations, kind of a red and orange, almost kind of a fluorescent color. And then it's even gone into plastics. This is a fire craw color Yamamoto flapping hog. And if you're probably putting this, say, on the back of a jig or something like that, I feel like those craw colors are just in that really bright reddish color. I don't know. I don't actually see them in the water in the wintertime. I don't see them hardly ever, but you know they exist. You know they're in the water. You know bass eat them. But these red craw, fire craw type color patterns are key. One of the other theories is that, you know, you have these red craw patterns. Why are they, you know, these brighter red craw colors? Why are they key? Because, you know, you have some rain runoff throughout some of these winter months, and that stains the water up a little bit. And so these fire craw colors can be, you know, a factor in getting bit. But I've also heard studies from scientists that say that red color in that shallower water, in some of the shallower zones, you know, say less than 10 feet of water, show up really well in those zones. Another thing that's real popular is a red kicker blade. These kicker blade, what we call a kicker blade, in a tandem Colorado, or those bright red, orange fire craw type kicker blades. I don't know why that's such a factor. That was kind of popularized in Oklahoma, and it's kind of been trending all over the country for a lot of years. But I basically want to say is make sure you're throwing your reds, your red craw colors, utilize the red pattern to draw fish to your baits. And just know that that's a seasonal pattern. It's something that works. We don't really have to know exactly why it works. It's just that it does. Something I just wanted to remind you, time to dust off those lipless crankbaits. Dust off those vibrating jigs and get them ready, because pre-spawn is just a short ways away and we're moving closer and closer. Those days are getting longer and longer. And what I think you'll actually end up seeing is more pre-spawn type activity and a lot of fun, and probably one of the best times to catch some of the biggest bass of the year. Just a quick video for you today, talking about seasonal patterns, talking about colors and combinations, things to keep in mind as you're headed to the lake this time of year. Hope everyone's doing well, staying warm. We're getting a little bit of rain here in Texas. It's kind of like you have a couple nice days and it gets cold and wet and rainy, and then a couple nice days, it's kind of up and down, but I think we're gonna have a little bit more nice weather next week. Until next time, thanks for watching and good fishing.